Hello, my friend. Welcome back. I'm very happy you are here. Before we begin, imagine a small kitchen early in the morning. Warm light enters through the window. A bowl of soft dough rests on the table. Nearby, hot oil begins to move gently in a deep pan. Then a circle of dough falls into the oil. Slowly, it rises. Its surface turns golden. The room fills with a sweet, warm smell. Today, we are going to discover the long and surprising history of the donut. It looks like a simple treat, but its story crosses countries, oceans, factories, and even battlefields. And there is one question people still ask. Why does a donut have a hole in the middle? Near the end, I will also share how a group of brave women used donuts to bring comfort to soldiers during one of history's darkest times. So relax, listen carefully, and let our sweet journey begin. Long before modern donut shops, people in many parts of the ancient world were already frying dough. The idea was simple. They mixed flour with water, shaped the soft dough, and dropped it into hot oil or animal fat. The outside became golden and crisp, while the inside stayed warm and soft. In some places, people added honey, fruit, or sugar. In others, fried dough was eaten without anything sweet. It was easy to make, filling, and did not require a large oven. These early foods were not donuts as we know them today. Most had no hole in the middle. Some were round, while others were long, twisted, or shaped like small balls. But they all shared the same important idea. Ordinary dough could become something comforting when it met hot oil. Over time, different cultures created their own versions. The recipes changed, but the human feeling stayed the same: to make something warm and share it. The outside became golden and crisp, pleasantly dry and slightly hard, while the inside stayed warm and soft. Now our story moves to the Netherlands. For many years, Dutch families made a fried cake called olykoek, a name that meant oily cake. These small balls of dough were cooked in hot fat until the outside became brown and golden. They were warm, sweet, and filling. But there was one problem. Because the dough was thick, the outside often cooked faster than the middle. Sometimes the center stayed soft, heavy, or even raw. To solve this, some cooks placed nuts, raisins, or pieces of fruit inside the center. This helped fill the part that was hardest to cook. Later, Dutch settlers carried the recipe across the Atlantic Ocean to New Amsterdam, the place that would one day become New York City. There, the little oily cakes entered a new world. Their shape, name, and recipe would slowly change. They were not yet the donuts we know today, but they were getting closer. As the Dutch recipe became more common in America, the little fried cakes slowly gained a new name. By the early 1800s, people were using the word donut. The name was simple. Dough described the soft mixture, and nut may have referred to the small round shape, or to the nuts sometimes placed in the center. The American writer Washington Irving mentioned these sweet fried cakes in his work. He described balls of dough cooked in fat and called them donuts. But at that time, there was no single shape. Some were round, some were twisted. Others looked like small cakes or soft balls, and the old problem was still there. The outside could become dark and crisp before the middle was fully cooked. Bakers needed a better way to let the heat reach the center. Then, according to one famous story, a young sailor found a very simple answer. He did not add a new ingredient. Instead, he removed something. He made a hole in the middle, and the donut began to take the shape we recognize today. The young sailor was named Hanson Gregory. According to the most famous story, Gregory did not like the heavy, uncooked center of fried dough. In 1847, when he was still a teenager, he found a simple solution. He removed the middle. Some stories say he used the top of a metal pepper box to cut a hole in the dough. Others say he pushed the cake onto the ship's wheel so he could keep both hands free during a storm. We may never know which story is completely true, but the idea made sense. Without a thick center, the dough could cook more evenly. The outside became golden, while the inside stayed soft instead of raw. That small hole changed everything. It solved a cooking problem, created a new shape, and gave the donut the form people now recognize around the world. As the ring-shaped donut became more familiar, it slowly entered everyday life in America. Families made donuts at home for breakfast, holidays, and community gatherings. The ingredients were simple: flour, sugar, milk, eggs, and oil. For many people, donuts were warm, filling, and easy to share. Recipes also began to change. Some bakers added cinnamon or nutmeg. Others filled donuts with jam or covered them with sugar. Two main styles became popular. Yeast donuts were light, soft, and airy. Cake donuts were heavier, denser, and more like a sweet cake. Soon, donuts moved beyond the family kitchen. Bakeries began making them for customers, and workers could buy one quickly before starting the day. What began as a homemade fried cake was becoming part of daily American life. Earlier, I promised to tell you how a group of brave women used donuts to bring comfort to soldiers. This is that story. Then the donut entered one of the darkest moments in modern history. In 1917, during World War I, American soldiers were fighting far from home in France. They lived with cold weather, fear, mud, and the constant sound of war. Near the front lines, young women from the Salvation Army came to support them. Two of these women, Helen Purviance and Margaret Sheldon, began making donuts with very limited tools and ingredients. The first batches were small, but the smell of warm dough quickly brought tired soldiers closer. To them, the donut was more than food. It reminded them of home, family kitchens, and peaceful mornings. For a few minutes, they could forget the war around them. These brave volunteers became known as the Donut Lassies. Their simple act turned a small fried cake into a symbol of comfort, kindness, and hope. The story of the Donut Lassies did not disappear when the war ended. Years later, people still remembered the young women who had worked near the battlefields. They had served hot donuts, warm drinks, and kind words to soldiers who were tired, frightened, and far from home. In 1938, the Salvation Army created National Donut Day to honor these brave volunteers. The day also helped raise money for people who were struggling during the Great Depression. This gave the donut a deeper meaning. It was no longer only a sweet breakfast or a simple snack. It became a reminder of courage, service, and human kindness. The word commemorate means to remember and honor an important person or event. National Donut Day commemorates the women who stood close to danger and gave soldiers a small taste of home. Behind every sweet bite is an older story, a story of ordinary people choosing to bring comfort when the world felt cold and uncertain. For many years, donuts were still made mostly by hand. Bakers had to shape each piece, place it in hot oil, turn it carefully, and wait for it to become golden. Then a man named Adolph Levitt helped change everything. Levitt was an immigrant and a bakery owner in New York City. He saw that people wanted fresh donuts quickly, especially during busy mornings. So he created an automatic donut machine. The machine shaped the dough, dropped it into hot oil, turned each donut, and moved it forward in a smooth line. Customers could watch the donuts float, cook, and slowly turn golden. It was not only efficient, it was also exciting to see. Soon, bakeries could make hundreds of donuts with the same size and shape. Prices became lower, and donuts became easier for ordinary people to buy. A homemade treat was becoming a modern industry. As donuts became easier to make, they found the perfect partner: coffee. The donut was warm, soft, and sweet. Coffee was hot, dark, and slightly bitter. Together, the two flavors created a simple balance that many people loved. For factory workers, drivers, police officers, and office workers, donuts and coffee became a quick breakfast before a long day. They were easy to buy, easy to carry, and not too expensive. Donut shops began opening early in the morning. Some stayed open late at night. Inside, people could rest for a few minutes, warm their hands around a cup, and enjoy something sweet. These shops became more than places to buy food. They became small meeting places. Friends talked there. Workers took short breaks. Travelers stopped before continuing their journeys. A donut and a cup of coffee could not solve life's problems, but for a quiet moment, they could make the morning feel a little warmer. As donuts became part of everyday life, large brands began to appear. Krispy Kreme grew famous for its soft, light donuts, covered with a thin sugar glaze. Customers loved seeing the "Hot Now" sign, which meant fresh donuts were coming directly from the machine. Later, Dunkin built its name around two simple things: donuts and coffee. Its shops focused on speed, convenience, and busy people starting their day. Soon, donut stores appeared in cities, suburbs, train stations, and airports. The donut was no longer only a homemade treat. It had become a product people could find almost anywhere. These brands also changed how donuts looked and tasted. New fillings, colorful toppings, and seasonal flavors appeared. A small fried cake had entered the world of modern business and become part of popular culture. But donut shops also became connected with one unexpected group of night workers. In American movies and television, police officers are often shown holding two things: a cup of coffee and a donut. This image may look like a joke, but it began for a practical reason. After World War II, many police officers worked through the night. At that time, very few restaurants stayed open after midnight. Donut shops were different. Bakers often worked all night, so fresh donuts would be ready early in the morning. The shops offered warm food, hot coffee, light, and a safe place to rest for a few minutes. Police officers stopped there during long shifts. Their presence also made shop owners feel safer. Over time, this practical relationship became a familiar part of American culture. Movies, cartoons, and television shows repeated the image until it became a stereotype, a fixed and often oversimplified idea about a group of people. Of course, not every police officer loves donuts. But behind the joke is a real story about night workers, quiet streets, and the few warm shops that kept their doors open while the rest of the city slept. As donut shops spread across America, the donut began traveling around the world. Each country welcomed the idea, but changed it in its own way. In Japan, bakers created matcha donuts with a soft green tea flavor. They also made mochi donuts, which are slightly chewy because they use rice flour. In Italy, people enjoy bomboloni. These round donuts usually have no hole. Instead, They are filled with cream, chocolate, or jam. In Germany, there is the Berliner, a soft fried cake with a sweet filling inside. Other countries already had their own fried dough traditions, such as churros, ponchik, and many local festival cakes. The shapes were different, the flavors were different, but the feeling was often the same. A warm piece of fried dough could bring comfort, celebration, and a small moment of happiness. The donut had become more than an American food. It had become part of a much larger human story. Today, the donut continues to change. Bakers no longer use only sugar, chocolate, or simple jam. They experiment with fruit, nuts, cookies, cream cheese, caramel, and flavors from different cultures. Some donuts are small and simple, others are large, colorful, and carefully decorated. They may look more like works of art than everyday snacks. Social media has helped this change. A bright pink donut, or a donut covered with unusual toppings, can quickly attract attention online. People do not only want to taste it, they also want to photograph it and share it. Some shops now sell expensive gourmet donuts made with special ingredients. Others return to old family recipes and focus on warmth, freshness, and memory. But even with all these changes, the heart of the donut remains simple. It is still flour, sweetness, and heat. It is still something people bring to a friend, share at work, or enjoy during a quiet morning. The styles may change, but the small feeling of comfort stays. And so, the donut's journey brings us back to something very human. It began as simple fried dough. Then it passed through Dutch kitchens, American streets, busy factories, and even the battlefields of war. No single person created the whole story. Families, sailors, immigrants, bakers, workers, and volunteers all added something along the way. The hole in the middle solved a small cooking problem, but over time, it became the shape people recognized around the world. The donut also became more than food. For soldiers, it meant home. For workers, it meant a warm break. For families and friends, it became something easy to share. That may be the real lesson of its history. Small things can carry great meaning. A simple piece of dough cannot change the world. But in the right moment, offered with care, it can bring comfort, memory, and hope. And now, my friend, think about your own journey. Learning English is also made of small steps. Every time you listen to a story, understand a sentence, or recognize a new word, you are moving forward. You do not need to understand everything today. The donut changed slowly as different people improved its shape and recipe. Your English can grow in the same way. One word, one sentence, and one quiet listening moment at a time. This is gradual progress. Gradual means happening little by little, not all at once. So be patient with yourself. Keep listening. Keep learning. Your small steps matter. Thank you for sharing this quiet journey with me. Now I would love to hear from you. What kind of donut do you enjoy most? A simple sugar donut? A soft glazed donut? Or one filled with chocolate, cream, or jam? Please tell me in the comments. You can also share which country you are listening from and whether your home has a special kind of fried dough. If this story helped you understand English more naturally, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. We will continue learning through slow, meaningful stories about food, history, and everyday life. Until our next journey, keep listening, keep learning, and remember that every small step is bringing you closer to your goal. Take care, my friend. I will be here with another warm story waiting for you.